Imagine living your life with your head in the sand. And I say that about money. You don't really know how much you budget for things. You don't know really where your money goes. And when you have a look at your finances at the end of the month, you cannot explain over £1,000 of where that's gone. Now that is the reality for a lot of people. If you don't budget your money, sometimes you just completely lose track of it and have no idea what's happened. That's what we're doing in today's Budget Bestie. Hi guys, gals, non-binary pals, welcome to Budget with Ira. My name is Ira, and on this channel we talk about budgeting, paying down debt and saving up for the life that you truly deserve. If that sounds like something you'd like to watch, please consider subscribing to the channel because we do have a lot of fun over here, bestie. We rally dough. In today's video, we're doing another episode of Budget Bestie. Budget Bestie is a series of mine when people anonymously submit their budgets to me. I take a look at them and see what I might do in their situation. This is not financial advice. However, sometimes somebody else looking at your budget can really give you a kick up the bum. I encourage you to fill out a form if you would like me to take a look at it, but the real knowledge and the real experience comes from the comments down below. So please make sure that you have a read of them, and if you've got an opinion about today's video, make your voice heard, bestie. So today's video is a good one, so shall we get into it? So I've got my handy dandy sheet in front of me, and when I ask them what their main financial goal is, they say saving for our first home. So that is their absolute #1 priority. That's all they put down. So that's super important to them. Their main financial issue is not knowing how to budget and to stick within their budget category. So I don't really know what they mean by that. If they don't know how to budget, they might not have a budget category. But I think this is a really good opportunity to start a budget from scratch and to show you how to break it down. So this will probably be a bit more of a how-to guide. What's really good is that they don't have any debt either, so we won't be spending a lot of time on debt. We'll actually probably be really spending a lot of time on getting this budget together. So when I ask them to provide any other information, they say they're a family of 4, husband, me and 2 boys. We have 2 different dietary allergies in our house, so groceries are a bit more expensive for us. I think 140 would be the minimum we could do per week. My husband is a truck driver on the road, which is why takeaway is higher. And if we look at takeaway, wow, okay, we need to talk about that. I have no idea where to start and how to stick to it. Please help. So I think we should do that. So it's an interesting one today because it's a trap that most people fall into, just barreling through the month and not really understanding where their money goes. So I think it's time to get a bit of structure into this. So shall we go ahead and get it done? Hi besties, so here we are here with the paycheck bill tracker, and I believe this has 2 sheets left on it, but normally these have 25 sheets on it. They're a little notepad that are really good for when you start budgeting, because we make mistakes, and when we make mistakes we like to rip it off and throw away. Rather than buying a lovely booklet or something like that, this is really handy. So we are down to the last few, and if you aren't new here and you know about this, we will be having updated design of this and a bit of an upgrade too as well, so keep an eye out for that, bestie. So we've got my favorite pen and we are ready to get budgeting, so let's go. So there's a lot to go through in this budget, so let's start off with income. So first of all, we have 2 bits of income. So we have income 1, which is one of them, and income 2, which is the other. I'm actually gonna move the camera because I don't think you can actually see this nicely. Okay, I hope that's better. So income 1 and income 2. So first income is 2146 and income 2 is 1275. They also get child benefit. So let me put that in. Child benefit, which is 159. So their total monthly income is 3580. So when I do a budget bestie, I do this based off of 4 weeks, but sometimes you need to spread it out over 5, yeah? So when setting out a budget, the important thing for me is to list all of your bills, everything that you want to put into cash envelopes, all of your sinking funds, your debt minimums and your saving minimums, and then you're kind of left with a budget. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to list all of the bills. This couple's bills are far more than this sheet, but I'll work it out, don't worry. I'm just going to run through them and then we'll go through and explain it all. Okay, that's all the bills done. And what I've done is I've kind of squeezed a couple of things down onto different pages. Well, on the same line is what I mean. So going through it, their rent is pretty normal. It's £915. Remember, they do rent because their ambition is to save for a home. Council tax is good. Gas and electric is pretty, I don't know if that's low, but if that's working for them, then fine. They pay for water, and then their two boys have swimming lessons every month. So swimming is 40. Car tax insurance is a nice amount. I don't think they really need to shop around for that. Internet is high, but they did mention that the husband is a gamer, so this is the internet that they require. So I guess that is what it is. Then here, what they have after that is a massive list of subscriptions. All of these are subscriptions. Now they all do different things, but the top, I guess, 10 are TV related. And all of these subscriptions come up to £81.93. That is hefty, bestie. That's a lot. So we're not necessarily here to rescue their budget. These are their lifestyle options. I would encourage them to reduce them, and when we do take a look at the budget, I will be encouraging them to do that. But that's how much lifestyle can creep in. £81 just to watch bloody TV, when you haven't even considering your TV license, which is in there somewhere. So yeah, all of that comes up to their bills as £1,499.92, which is pretty high for a family of four, just on like basics, do you know what I mean? So what they're left with is £2,080.08. So let's take a look at envelopes. So they say they've got two, so groceries and takeaway. So we can already see that they've forgotten a couple of bits already, but they're saying that this is the first time they've ever budgeted. So they don't really have a budget for this. This is literally how much they spent last month. So last month they spent £567 on groceries, which is really normal, and £257 on takeaway. So for takeaways, depending on where they live, so if they live where I live, a takeaway is between £30 and £40 a month. So let's just put it on the lower end. £257 divided by 30 is, oh no, that's not right. £257 divided by 30, that's like 8.5, 9 takeaways a month. That's a fair bit, if I'm really honest. Not judging the lifestyle or anything like that, but I don't really feel like they have the budget to back up that much money on it. Anyway, all of that comes up to £824, which leaves them with £1,256.08. So hopefully you're following me with the budget so far. So we've got the income, we've taken away the bills, and we've taken away the things that they sort of can be variable. So they can spend less on groceries, they can spend less on takeaway. Obviously there's more categories that they've forgotten to mention in there, and we'll put them in as well. The next step up here is sinking funds. So these are the things that you're saving up for throughout the year. You're either saving them in cash, or you're putting them into a separate account, or whatever you're doing with them. This is where you put those. So they've listed their sinking funds as saving up for a new home, which they don't budget anything to, Christmas, which they don't budget anything to, school uniform, which they don't budget anything to. They don't budget anything to these. Uniform, spoiler alert on that, and then like having some holidays. Okay, so like 1 to 2 holidays is pretty normal, but they don't budget anything, so they're still left with the 1,256.08. Now they are debt-free besties, so we don't need to worry about the next section. And then they have no sort of saving plans, right? So their buffer really is 1,256. Now, what they're telling me is that they don't actually know what happens to this 1,256.08. And I think it's because they're just not in the habit of budgeting. Do you know what I mean? So because they're not in the habit of budgeting, they don't know where their money's going, but like they haven't listed petrol or spending money or all the other things that crop up just from having kids. Do you know what I mean? So it's that's basically and essentially budgeting, right? But now what we're going to do is we're going to bust out the red pen, and we're going to figure out ways to make this work better for their goals. So remembering that saving up for a home is their priority right now, but making sure that they're not neglecting everything. Okay, so let's get this red pen out. So here she is. She's a stunner. Okay, so normally what I don't do is I really don't make too many adjustments within the bills unless I absolutely have to, because people's lifestyles are their lifestyles. Just because I might do something, they might not necessarily do that. But I do think to regain a little bit of control over their budget and feel like they're actually doing something, they do need to cut down this subscription thing. So they've got YouTube, which is so unnecessary. All that does is cuts out adverts, and I'd pay 20 quid to watch adverts, do you know what I mean? They've got Amazon Prime, which if they're getting loads of stuff delivered, I mean, do they have money for it in the first place? So potentially they don't need that. Netflix is Netflix. They have a subscription box for an investigation thing. They have Wow Plus, which is TV, Paramount Plus, which is TV, Disney Plus, which is TV. They have Apple, which is storage, and the Tesco delivery pass. So, I mean, most of that is TV. I would encourage them to make good decisions and cut that down to 40. So what is priority to us and our family, yeah? So what that will then do is that'll cut that down by 40. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's literally... It's something, do you know what I mean? So it's something they're doing to sort of regain control of their budget. That will then leave them with £2,120.08. Okay, so as I said, they forgot some bits in the envelope. So first of all, I would introduce petrol. Now, I don't really know what their petrol needs are going to be, so I'm just going to put that at £120 a month. They might need far more than that, but because they didn't mention it, it might actually be quite a low number, depending for them, because they need to drive to work, they need to drive the kids around and stuff like that. So if they need to pay more than that, they've got wiggle room, which they can figure that out. So we'll get to that at the end. And then a bit of spending money. So obviously they're buying things for themselves and the kids constantly, but they're not planning for it. So I'm going to say £20 a week for now, just so that you can achieve your goals. Now, if you feel like you don't want to live like that, you want to have more money per week, then fine, but you have to take away from somewhere. So this would give you £20 each as parents per week, and that's not for the kids, that's for you. So going back to groceries, so they spent £567 last month on groceries, and they say that they couldn't possibly spend less than 140 because of their dietary requirements. So people in my family, families of 5 who do have dietary requirements and significant ones, they spend 125. So I think suck it up, bestie, and go for £500 a month. So if you do £125 a week, at your absolute maximum, it's I think you can do it. So we're not shaving off much, but just going in the shop with a plan will be absolutely fine. So if you did spend £140 per week, it would be 560, and you basically spent that. So I don't feel like without budgeting you would have you've been scrimping and saving that grocery shop. I think you've just been shopping what you fancy, do you know what I mean? So cull it down to 125 and I think you're in a good place. And if you can take it even lower, great. Takeaways has to change. It has to. You can't spend that much. And the fact that your husband's a truck driver is the reason that you get loads of takeaways? No. Have you ever heard of a packed lunch? Do you know what I mean? So I would change that, but I wouldn't cut it down to 0. You need to realize that you are a family that have takeaways. You do have takeaways. So start with 120 and work your way down. If you can do less, absolutely fine, but try and limit it to 1 family takeaway per week, not lots of them, multiple. Yeah, you spend enough in groceries already. Now, if you decide that you do want to spend more in takeaways, take it from groceries. I'm sure you won't have as many takeaways when you realizing you're taking away food for your family. Do you know what I mean? So that's where we're at with that. So I've made that 900. It is more than what you were planning, but we've got plans for the next part of it. Yeah. So obviously coming back to petrol, if you do find that you need to spend more, this is where you'll sort of take money from over here. So at the moment you've got £900 that you're spending on your envelope, which leaves you with £1,220.08. So let's move over to sinking funds. So I am going to add some extra sinking funds in, but first what I'm going to do is, I'm going to add them first actually. So what we sometimes forget is summer holidays. So this is like a spend that is separate to holidays. Just because you've got the kids at home for 6 weeks, you need to keep them entertained, you need to do stuff. I would err on the side of caution. Two boys that obviously want to go out and do stuff and stuff like that, I do £50 a month, and then you've kind of got £600 at the start of each summer holiday to do that. So I think that's really that's like quite a lot of money to be like active, and as the boys get older they're going to want to do more and more stuff, so I think doing that is good. And it means that you're also not taken away from all of like the kids stuff. Yeah. Car seems to be a thing for you guys as well, so I'd include your car maintenance for your MOT and services. So I'll do car maintenance as well, because it's often a neglected one. So I'd just do 25 because that's how much I do. That'll give you £300 at the end of the year, and that's usually more than enough unless you've got like a banger. And then what I would do is a category of birthdays, so that's birthdays for the whole family. I do £50, and how I'd probably split it, I'd do £15 for each boy and then a tenner for you two as parents. So that's the way I'd probably do it, but like feel free to play around with it. So moving on up, holidays, I would probably do £160 a month, because you have the budget to do it. So if you're planning on having 2 holidays a year like most people do, £160 a month will give you 1.9k, almost 2k. So you could probably do, and like for a family of 4, a holiday on 1k is pretty challenging. So this is still, even though it feels generous, that's still a pretty tough thing to go for. And then school uniform, I do £30 a month. That will give you £360 at the start of the year. I'm hoping that's enough. So obviously you can play around with these values if you want. And then Christmas, if you did £50 a month, you'd have £600 at the end of the year. And I think you can have a successful Christmas with that. Some people like to have £1,000. Some people like to have less or more, but you know, that's how much I'd go for. And because you have no debt, you can be quite aggressive with your goals. So you can save £750 a month based off of what I've done. So depending on how much you want your deposit to be, if you save £750 every month for a year, you'd have £9,000 at the end of the year. Now, £9,000 doesn't seem like a lot, and it will take you a couple of years to get there, but that's from making these sacrifices and doing these great things with your budget. Now, if you feel like you'd like to take away stuff from here to add into that, by all means go for it. But this means that you're covering all your bases and you're doing lots of things with your family and having the memories with your kids while you're young, while providing them with something to look forward to. So that's probably where I'd go. So what that means is the sinking funds add up to 1115, which is a nice comfortable amount. If you look, your bills are nearly that much, so you're saving like about the same as what your bills are, which I think is really healthy. It leaves you with £105.08, and obviously we're skipping debt because we are debt-free besties over here. And what I'd be encouraging you to do is to have a mini emergency fund, and I'd make it £80 a month. That will get you 1k by the end of the year, and then I just wouldn't stop. I'd keep on saving £1,000 a year just until you get to 3580 times 6. Yeah, it's a lot of money. Yeah, but just keep on going with that. So your sort of savings would be there, and it'd leave you with a buffer with £25.8. Now, obviously your buffer is much less. However, this is now much more considered as a budget. You've got a plan for everything and you know where everything's going to go. I would make this a mini sacrifice just because it's going to make you feel like you're a bit more in control. But if you feel like you can't let this stuff go, that's absolutely fine. But then you're taking away from birthdays or holidays, and what is more important to you, being able to watch YouTube ad free, or you know, being able to upgrade your hotel or something like that. Be realistic about how much petrol and spending money you need per month, because sometimes there is that. And I do think you need to challenge yourself, because yeah, I think it's just find cheaper alternatives, shop smarter, and the less takeaways you have, the better, really. If you can even reduce this further, great. But just, you know, if you are a family that enjoys a takeaway and you want to have takeaways, do them. Just do it within budget, yeah? And then in terms of sinking funds, This is just a very, very basic overall. I may have even missed something, but these is what I'd probably play around with. I'd still keep this number relatively similar to that, but if you feel like you need to probably do a bit more to Christmas, that's fine. You just need to take from somewhere else. So playing around with the numbers is really important. And then you've got this emergency fund. So I would probably use this as a blueprint every month. As income goes up or down, if you have a variable salary, you can start to move stuff around, but try to make sure that you give yourself a bit of a buffer so you got a cushion for an uber emergency, and try to grow that. And that is basically how you set out a budget. It's really, really important to reflect on stuff and review stuff and list everything out. When you compare your budget against other families your size with same sorts of scenarios as you, you'll really see how different it is. And by looking at other people's budget, that doesn't necessarily mean that their way is right or your way is right. It's just what is right for your family. So another family of the same size as this would probably hate to spend that much on takeaways, but they might be going on 4 holidays a year, which to you might seem really excessive. So it's just about finding out what's important to you and making those things happen while achieving your dreams, bestie. So best of luck, and best of luck to anybody else watching this who has a similar situation. Hi guys, girls and non-binary pals, thank you so much for getting through to the end of the video. You know I love it when you get through to the end of the video. Please give this video some love. Make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe. And if you are going to comment, please use this emoji. What do you think of today's video? What would you do if you were them? I think for me, yes, there's a lot of subscriptions and they are wasting so much money with subscriptions, but in the grand scheme of things, £40 isn't going to make a massive difference to their budget. It's about their habits and the things that they do with their choices on a month can really make such a big difference, because they've got such a good opportunity to really make a difference to their lives. I really truly wish this young family the best of luck with their budget, and please let me know down in the comments if you would do anything different. Massive thank you to the person who submitted this budget, bestie, and if you have something that you would like me to take a look at, please fill out a form as well, because you never know, it could make it onto a video. An extra special thank you to the channel members and the patrons, because without you I wouldn't be here, truly. Patrons get sneak peeks to latest collections, exclusive videos and mega discounts on my Etsy store. If you'd like to join them over on Patreon, please take a look at the link in the description. You will not regret it, bestie. That's it for this week, and I guess we are done. So until the next budget, bestie, I would like you to have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week and have a wonderful budget. Always remember, don't trust Ira. And bestie, I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.